You know, bro, by your behavior right now, I'm going to have to take you down and get fixed. Let's talk about Joe Burrow. You know, if Pat Mahomes doesn't shit the bed like he did the other day, we're talking about Joe Burrow in a different light. We're talking about Joe Burrow. Guy didn't get it done. Biggest game of his career, and he didn't play. Joe Burrow didn't play good. He made a couple good runs that he needed to, scrambles that got out of trouble, but he didn't throw the ball well. He had an interception, should have had two. Made a terrible throw on the sidelines, and that's that weak arm coming into play. But he didn't play good. Now, he's still a good quarterback, but he didn't have a good game. But Pat Mahomes overshadowed him by far because Pat Mahomes went from having a great first half outside of the last 12 seconds. You know, on that play, Pat Mahomes messed up when he threw in the flat to Tyreek Hill. If Pat Mahomes would have turned to his right, he could have ran it in easily. But anyway, he went from playing the perfect first half to the worst half of football I've ever seen. And for that reason, you cannot consider Pat Mahomes an elite quarterback anymore. Elite quarterbacks don't go into the playoffs and shit the bed. Not like that's the worst I've ever seen. Because Pat Mahomes is the reason the Bengals won. The Bengals didn't win that game as much as Pat Mahomes is. Joe Burrow didn't win that game. Joe Mixon didn't win a game. Pat Mahomes won that game for the Bengals. And that's a shame because the Kansas City players right now, Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, all them guys, they didn't do nothing wrong to lose that game. Pat Mahomes was the reason you lost that game. And a lot of hats going to Andy Reid, too. You know, they're rushing three guys, dropping 8 in coverage. Well, you'd think he'd run the ball. Andy Reid is like Kevin Stefanski, that when he does something, he's not going to change up because he's one of these guys that's like stubborn. He did it in the Super Bowl last year. He didn't change nothing up. Well, he did it yesterday or Monday or Sunday. And so I put a little bit of blame on Andy Reid, but Mahomes had so many holes that there was lanes he could have ran. Instead of running around in circles, doing pirouettes, whatever you call that shit, he could have ran, got first down multiple times. Every time he was under pressure, he could have ran, but he refused to for some reason. So it was the weirdest thing. It was like, this guy will not try running forward. He'll run backwards. It was almost, to me, I started thinking the fix was in or something because something was going on. And then when they got the ball, like at the end of the game, they were trying to waste time. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, listen, you score a touchdown. You go up 4 points. Negates the field goal winning the game, right? Your defense has played pretty good all day. It's holding Cincinnati basically the field goals. Why not? When you try to play with scoring like that, I think it happened against them the first game against Cincinnati. You got to score. Let your defense play. They blew it. Mahomes blew it. It was the stupidest thing. Andy Reid blew it. Just score the fucking touchdown. Give them the ball with a minute and a half left, whatever. They got no timeouts left. Let your defense handle it. Dumbest decision by Andy Reid ever. And it cost them the game. And I'll tell you right now, Mahomes will never recover from this. Remember how the Seahawks never recovered from Russell Wilson throwing that interception in the Super Bowl? And you know what? They gave life to the New England Patriots because the Patriots got a couple more Super Bowls after that, I believe. The Kansas City Chiefs and Pat Mahomes will never be the same after this. There are playoff-changing games that happen that change franchises. This will change the Kansas City franchise forever. Trust me. Mahomes will never be the same guy because in the back of his mind, he's going to have to remember this. And Mahomes made a great throw in the first half, but Mahomes is a backyard football player. And it's a shame because Buffalo is the best team in the AFC. Like I say, I don't even think Cincinnati's a good team. To me, they're a 500 team. All right. If you look at Cincinnati, they're not that, I don't think they're that good. I mean, you got guys, Eli Apple and Awuzie. Those are your starting cornerbacks in the fucking Super Bowl. They're going to get torched. And Eli Apple's so bad that Mahomes threw a perfect pass to him and he dropped it. Would have been a pick six in overtime. And he dropped it. But I believe this defense is just going to get torched by They're going to get torched. I don't think Cincinnati has a chance. They don't. I don't. And I almost am going to be rooting for Cincinnati because I can't stand Sean McVay. And I hate Odell Beckham Jr. I loathe Odell Beckham Jr. People remember me on Twitter about 10 years, whatever it was, 8, 9, whatever, when I predicted he would get injured in the preseason. He did. I never liked him. I couldn't stand when he came to Cleveland. Something about the guy, I just don't like him. In fact, Odell will be happy if he catches 10 balls for 200 yards and 3 TDs and they lose. He'll be happy because he'll sit there and say, well, I had a good game. Trust me when I tell you, that's the type of guy Odell is. He'll be happy if he catches 10 balls for 200-some yards and they lose 3 TDs. He'll be happy. That's just who he is. Trust me. He'd rather be the superstar than the winner. And no one can change my mind on that. And as far as him in Cleveland, listen, he never wanted to be in Cleveland. When he got traded there, he called, what's his name up, that short dude, What's his name? Jay Glazer. He called Jay Glazer up and said, "How do I get out of here? Get me out of here." And Jay Glazer, this is the day he got traded. He did not want to come to Cleveland. And Jay Glazer said, "All right, bro, this is not how it works. I can't help you there." Search it up. He wanted to get out of Cleveland. The day he got there, he did not want to be there. And people got to understand something. This guy just wants to be in the spotlight. He was in the spotlight in New York. They weren't winning, but he was in the spotlight. He loved it there. When they traded him, it ruined his world. He always wanted to go to New York, Miami, or something like that, or Los Angeles. He only cares about the spotlight. I loathe Odell Beckham, and I'm not going to lie to you. I hope that he gets injured in this game to the point where he can never play football again. And listen, you need more people like me in this world that are honest about it. I do. I hope he does. I just don't like him. So I hope he tears another ACL up, the same one, and just, that's it. I don't like the guy. To me, he's a cancer. When he was in Cleveland, he didn't want to be there, but he didn't even try. And that's what pisses me off. More people need to be like me. You need to speak your fucking minds instead of fucking bottling shit up. I'd really like to speak my mind on this situation because I'd say something like maybe, well, you know what I'm talking about because I just don't like him. Remember a guy named Daryl Stingley? Well, anyway, I don't like him, and he's a cancer. And I think I'm going for the Bengals, and I hate to go for the Bengals because they're in my division. But out of the teams in my division, I'd probably hate the Bengals the least. So I am going to root for the Bengals, in fact, because I want Beckham to lose. It is what it is. I never liked him. And this went like I said, I never liked him even before he was in Cleveland. I didn't want him in Cleveland. I couldn't stand him. I fucking hated him. The dude, that one-handed, you know what makes me sick about Beckham? That one-handed catch he did, right? First off, it was offensive interference. Why didn't they call it? Then we wouldn't have to fucking see that highlight. And secondly, all this guy does is every pregame, he one-hand catches. Who cares? Everyone, listen, I don't even need a glove to catch the ball one hand. I got fucking 18-inch hands. But this dude, anyone can catch a football one hand with them gription gloves. So I'm just telling you facts. Pat Mahomes is not an elite quarterback no more. That's a fact. Joe Burrow didn't play good. That's a fact. And I would take Justin Herbert over Joe Burrow in a heartbeat if I had my choice between the two. And that's not a knock on Burrow, because Burrow is a good quarterback. I just like the big arm quarterbacks. I like his size, 6'6". He reminds me of a little more polished, and I know people are going to get pissed at me, my Buffalo Bills, but I think he's a more polished Josh Allen. I do. And I think he's just a better passer than Josh Allen, but Josh Allen's great too. And you know what? We could have had Josh Allen. We should have had Josh Allen. That's why I kind of wish the Browns would have been in the draft with Joe Burrow and Herbert, because if I know Dorsey, we were taking a quarterback, we would have probably took Herbert because and somebody else would have, you know what I'm saying? We would have either had Herbert or Burrow, but I think he would have took Herbert. And instead of this draft, we got this midget quarterback who just can't play in this league. So. But I have confidence the Browns will rectify it, and I hope it is with the Kirk Cousins signing. I hope they draft someone like Malik Willis, and I'll make a video on that separately. But draft a quarterback, start him. The Patriots drafted a quarterback, McCorkle Jones. They started him. They went to the playoffs with McCorkle Jones, and McCorkle Jones isn't even good. He's Baker Mayfield with a weaker arm and a little bit bigger size. That could run a little bit. Yeah, I know Patriots fans think the world of McCorkle Jones, but that's not a guy that's going to make a difference. He's not going to win you a playoff game. As we've seen him shit the bed in the playoffs. He's just a regular season game manager. So I know Patriot fans will get sensitive about this, but it's just the truth. You know it as well as I. He does nothing special. And he's in a perfect system. Now that McDaniels is leaving, we're probably going to see the guy throw about 20 interceptions. Mark my words.